We're Ashley and Christian. We are currently driving the ring road around Iceland. We are continuing along Iceland's southern coast towards Vatnajokull National Park, Europe's largest glacier. Hiking through glaciers, watching seals swim in lagoons, and walking on black sand beaches make for a normal day in this part of the world. Come along with us as we explore the amazing country of Iceland. We are starting our day today in Iceland at Skaftafell National Park, which is actually part of Vatnajokull National Park. So we're at the visitor center and we're gonna check out the inside and then head off on a hike to Svartifoss, which is another waterfall, in case you couldn't tell by the foss at the end.
We just finished paying for our campground. Cost about $32, which might seem like a lot, but when factoring in whether or not you're staying at a campground or at an Airbnb, campgrounds will always be cheaper.
We're paying about $100 to $150 a night, but that also includes our car rental. So we have accommodation and our car rental for around $150 a night, which it will be cheaper than staying in Airbnbs and hotels and everything. And you have to keep in mind that you don't have to worry about check-in or check-out if you're staying in a tent or a van. We will be visiting a glacier viewpoint first and then a waterfall before heading on to Diamond Beach later, which is one of the most popular places in Iceland. This hike only has about 900 feet or so of elevation gain, so it really shouldn't be bad, but we get to get up a little bit higher. We haven't hiked up yet in Iceland, just mostly flat.
Always be prepared.
60 degrees outside, and Christian put on 5 layers when we left our van this morning. But he's right.
Prepared.
He's always prepared. We're prepared to get stuck up here for days. This is a 4.5 mile loop, and it's pretty easy. We recommend taking it counterclockwise because on the way up, on the right side, you get these views of the glacier. It honestly feels like you're walking through a forest book, like a fairy tale book, because there's just all this lush green foliage, and then you get to look at these glaciers as you're walking up. It's so cool.
We just came around this corner and we can see like a glacier lagoon. And I think my jaw literally dropped. Here is the Glacier Lagoon.
We're about half a mile away or so from the actual viewpoint, but it started raining quite a bit and it slowed down just now, so we decided to come out and look out over the glacier. To see one that takes up 9% or so of Iceland is incredible. Not a bad lunch spot. Clouds have rolled away a lot, and so we're able to see how this mountain looks and how big the glacier is. Look how beautiful this view turned out to be. We've made it to the viewpoint, Skaftafell viewpoint, and it is halfway through our trail that we're doing. This is like the kind of the first big stop we get. Like, we were seeing the glacier when we were coming up and we were like, oh my goodness, it's so cool, it's so beautiful. And then you come out here and you can see so far back in the ice field. It is incredible. I definitely recommend coming up the counterclockwise way because then you're slowly eased into the glacier, and then when you see it, it's like bam, instead of like you see it all at once and then it just slowly disappears.
We just made out here to this edge. We have a nice overview of the glacier. You can really see the grooves and all the little divots all over the glacier. This is really my first glacier seeing up close.
Now we're walking through just an open field surrounded by little peaks.
What?
Oh, and there's a...
This might look brown, but this is like kind of dark reddish orange.
Yeah. Every 2 minutes or so, I feel like we're seeing something that we're like, oh!
Whoa!
Whoa!
Here in Iceland, what's really nice is you don't need to stop off at a gas station or a grocery store to get any water. There's always rivers of water flowing everywhere. Typically because there's so many glaciers here, the water's so pure, and you just want to get straight out of the river. As you guys can see, we switched it up to the GoPro because it has been raining pretty consistently. We went ahead and put the camera up, and we're right in front of what is now Svartifoss. It is a beautiful waterfall just off the side of the mountain here.
A lot of different trail options around Svartifoss, and when you get to this main little fork in the road, there's a big bridge. We just walked over it to get a nice view of the waterfall, but if you go straight up from there, you end up at this platform with this view.
Behind me you can see the waterfall, and there actually are a bunch of basalt columns like we saw on the black sand beach. Just so crazy how these landscapes form themselves just over time.
The basalt columns really give it a very different look than the rest of the waterfalls we've seen, just because the basalt columns by themselves look so cool, and then mix it with a waterfall, it's like a perfect combination. So we're down from our hike, and by far the best part of renting a van to do Iceland is that we have all of our food here right now, instead of having to either go buy food or have to go back to the hotel or something. At the Jokulsárlón Glacier Lagoon, and our first thing we saw was a seal flipping around in the water. Look at these little glaciers, like the little pieces of the glacier that are broken off, and then they make their way down this little stream river area to the Diamond Beach, which is where we're gonna go next.
I am just purely blown away by these glaciers. I was telling Ashley, it looks like a glacier graveyard. This place is amazing. Oh, look at that sharp one right there. You see that thing?
No entry fee for this place. We just drove up and parked and walked right up, and that's wild to me that this is just here for us to enjoy for free. You can take boat tours out through the little icebergs, which would be so much fun. They're kind of expensive though, in true Iceland fashion.
All this overcast and like all the Arctic scenery, as you guys can see behind me. I feel like I'm not on Earth. I think I've already said this, but I don't feel like I'm on this planet. This just seems like a whole other world. We just got finished with the lagoon. We're getting ready to actually head down towards the beach side, which is where all of the icebergs go through. So they go under this bridge right there, and then they exit out, and then they go into the ocean to further their lives. Unlike, a normal beach, which is like a typical sand beach, the rocks here are all dark. So you have a dark black beach, which with just like the bluish white glaciers, the bluish water and the white hitting the beach, it's just simply amazing, guys.
This specific viewpoint is called Breidamörkurssunder. This whole entire southern coastline is pretty much black sand beaches.
This is nuts. I got some sand in my hand. It's just like regular sand, but it's black. I feel like I almost have coffee grounds in my hand. Look at this. Just normal sand. It's so weird. Look at this, guys. Oh man, look at that. That's nuts. This came off the glacier, the big glacier. This is a part of the big glacier.
My hands are freezing. Look at the glacier. It's so cool. Did you see it just stick?
Yeah.
Also known as Diamond Beach, which is the more popular term, and that specific spot, like if you Google map it, is right over there, but it's the exact same spot, so you can go to either one. This is a little bit different of a perspective than the Glacier Lagoon, because you kind of get to walk among the broken glacier pieces. You get to be part of their final journey out to the ocean.
We just had to slam on our brakes because there's a bunch of sheep crossing the road. I think everything in our back seat is now in our front seat.
One of the reasons we got a later start today is because yesterday we were trying to fly our drone. Gimbal motor overload, which I guess is a pretty common problem.
Basically, the gimbal is having trouble stabilizing when we're in flight, which basically means you get kind of a tilted image.
Not even that, everything was just like wobbling. Like the whole video was just shaking back and forth.
Our drone is a first generation Mavic Air 1.
Christian tried a few different things. Tried changing the firmware that we couldn't. Tried recalibrating. Just a bunch of stuff he found online, and eventually something worked. And so right now our drone is working. We just flew it. It looked fine.
So we're babying it a lot.
But yeah, we are doing everything by the book right now, taking care of it. We just needed to get through the rest of Iceland at least. Just know that if your drone pops up and says gimbal motor overload, just keep trying until it works. Because I think he tried probably 6 or 7 different things before something worked. And it's worth not having to buy a whole new drone over. We are speaking it into existence that it is going to continue working.
Fingers crossed.
It is going to continue working.
This is my wife. She is making me sandwich. She's a very good sandwich maker.
Oh my God.
The best in the West.